Back in February, I got laid off the morning I was leaving for vacation with my girlfriend on our 7-year anniversary. To be clear, this is not me dogging on my last employer. It just is what it is. So I was the in-house audio technician and box office manager at my last job. I ran the soundboard for all kinds of live productions, took care of the mics, assisted musicians, while also creating tickets for shows, helping people with the ticket buying process, things like that. It was my first real job in the industry. I was, and still am, extremely grateful that I was given an opportunity to use the skills that I developed in college and developed a ton more on the job, even beyond audio skills. So here's some background details. Approximately 6 months before all this went down, the company's CEO kind of suddenly resigned. No drama, at least not publicly. Her letter said that she was leaving to pursue other opportunities, but the timing felt a little too convenient for me to believe that. But I also still struggle to properly use affect and effect in a sentence, so who am I to speculate? After all that, absolute radio silence. We didn't hear much about what was going on behind the scenes. Eventually, someone from the board stepped in as the interim CEO. One day he gathered us all for a meeting and he basically said, "We lost $1 million last year. Spending is out of control. Things have to change very fast." Anyway, one Wednesday afternoon while I was building some wooden boxes for an upcoming show, I was approached by the interim CEO of the company. He goes, "Hey, there any chance you could come in on Friday afternoon?" I go, "Sorry, I don't think so. I'm leaving for vacation sometime in the afternoon." Then he just kind of squints his eyes and he goes, "We kind of need you here. Any chance you can come in the morning?" So I thought about it and I was like, I might be able to make it work. And he says, "Can you come in at 9? I was like, sure, I can do that, no problem. And he just says, "Thank you," and then he goes away. I didn't think too much of that interaction while it was happening. ADHD tunnel vision had me prioritizing wood box crafting above my own breathing. You might know how that is. But then, after a few minutes, it hit me. Uh-oh. Interim CEO wants to chat. The company has been struggling financially for several months now. Could this mean... No, I doubt it. They wouldn't fire their only sound person, would they? So I walked over to one of my colleagues in the next room over to see if she knew what was going on. "Hey, did interim CEO come over to talk to you?" She goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "What did he say?" "He just said he needed to get out of the office and it's been a while since he's last been in the workshop." "He didn't ask you to come in on Friday to have a meeting or nothing like that?" She goes, "No." "Uh-oh, why did he ask you?" I said, "Yeah, that's not good. I'm gonna have to go talk to him again." See, I didn't want to be ruminating about all the possible things it could have been about, so I went back up to his office to clarify why he needed me. So I knocked on his door and let myself in. "Hey, quick question. May I ask what this meeting is going to be about on Friday?" He just kind of winced and says, "I hate to duck the question, but it involves several of our staff members. That's all I can say." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, thank you." Then I left, not feeling completely satisfied with his answer, but felt a little less anxious since it involved other staff members. At worst, maybe he's cutting some of our hours, or slashing pay to cut back on the costs. Or worse yet, a mandatory bonding activity. Ooh. See, just a few months prior, just before Christmas, we had an important staff meeting about the future of the company. Towards the end of the meeting, to wrap everything up, he said, "I hate to say this, but you may want to think twice about buying gifts for your loved ones this year." It It genuinely sounded like something Santa would say if he was depressed, and mucho stinky, and wore Crocs everywhere, and always insisted that he wasn't losing his hair. So it's Thursday. I felt anxious all day, but I did what I could to keep my mind off of it. And then after making it through, I went home and made sure that everything was packed and ready for the trip. So now it's Friday morning, got up, showered, got dressed, had everything ready to go. But before we left, I had to go to that meeting. My girlfriend, bless her heart, kept assuring me that everything was going to be okay. And the whole drive there, I kept assuring myself that everything was going to be okay. Surely I'm too useful to get rid of, right?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
So I park my car and I walk inside. I knock on his office door, let myself in, and there he was, sitting with a lady I've never seen before with a few sheets of paper on the table. My heart sank, because at this point I knew for sure what was going on. I sat down and he immediately said, Thank you for coming in. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you already know what this is about. Dude, it was like being broken up with. Deep down, of course, I knew it was over, but a small part of me was hoping that I was just being paranoid. Yeah, I kind of figured, I said. Then he went on to explain that the company needed to slash costs across the board, which included some of the staff members. 6, to be exact. And, of course, I was one of them. He slid me a sheet of paper and he said, "I'm really sorry, but we're going to need to let you go." The piece of paper just said the typical stuff about being laid off and all that stuff. Yeah, it is with my deepest condolences, etc., etc. So even though I already knew, I was still a bit shocked. And he said, "I know this must be a bit awkward considering what today is. The timing just happened to be unfortunate." And then that woman, she chimes in and goes, "What's today?" And I looked at her and I go, "Oh, it's the 7th anniversary of my girlfriend and I. We're going to the Lake of the Ozarks for the weekend, and we're leaving as soon as I get back from this meeting." And then she kind of cringed and goes, "Ooh, I'm so sorry." "Well, congratulations, and I hope you're able to enjoy your vacation." I believe that she was a member of the board that oversees the finances of the company, but I can't totally remember. So when it was time to go, I slapped my thighs and I hit him with the old Midwestern, "Well," and we both stand. I shake his hand and he adds, "I don't want to be insulting, but just know that you're always welcome to come back. Maybe watch some shows, maybe do some contract work, or even volunteer." And I just said, "Thanks. It's something to consider, but I'm gonna need to take some time away first." God, it really was like getting broken up with. Thank God Instagram doesn't notify people when you stalk their profiles. I still think about them in the shower. So I gave him my work keys, and that was that. I walked out, called my old lady, and I told her the news. And she was super caring and super supportive, as usual. I love that woman so much, you have no idea. We went on our trip, and it was amazing. The thought of what the hell am I going to do crept up on me a few times, of course, but being there with the love of my life was plenty enough to make me feel like everything was okay. And actually, here's a neat little detail. My current profile picture was taken by her while on that trip. So after we got back from the Ozarks, I learned a few more details about that whole situation and some of the aftermath. First of all, that Friday was deemed the Valentine's Day Massacre by some of the employees still working there since it happened in February. Everyone who still works there is having to increase their job responsibility on top of the many things that they already do. And as far as I know, the positions of the people who were laid off were eliminated completely and indefinitely. I'm still cool with some of the folks there. They're really good people who genuinely care about the things that they do. And honestly, I don't have any grudges against anyone. I'm more angry at the situation than anything. But, life goes on. Hopefully, us few getting laid off helped to prevent that place from getting shut down completely. It would do nothing but harm to the community, and especially the kids of the city that I live in, if it were to go under. And that's my story about how I lost my job. As for what's next for me, I honestly don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. See, I kind of made this channel as a way to help me find out what I'm good at and what I want to be good at. I've always had a knack for being able to learn how to do something very quickly, but then I either lose interest or I get too intimidated by how long it'll take to get really good at something. Audio engineering was just never in the stars for me. I just sort of picked something out of fear of being left behind. I won't lie to you, I am afraid. I'm afraid of being totally directionless, but I suppose courage is pushing forward in spite of the fear, no? I mean, I can't just sit here and do nothing. Well, anyway. Thanks for being with me as I tell you a story of mine. I hope you enjoyed listening. If you have a similar story, feel free to share about a time that you were laid off, or fired, or if you even just quit. I'd love to learn about you. I'm Renojo, and this is goodbye for now.